Inspirators, it's Inspiring Vanessa here. Welcome back to my YouTube channel, and this is going to be my 2022 year video. For those of you who aren't already familiar with what I would describe as kind of like a YouTube tradition on my channel now, at the end of each year I go through everything that happened in that year and I just kind of break down all the things that have happened in the months. This is also going to be a reminder to all of you that not anyone in the world has just 365 days straight of good things happening to them. We all experience bad days, we experience different life experiences, but yeah, you get what I mean. So when you do scroll through your feed and you see a photo dump of someone's year, or you see a 2022 roundup or recap, please remind yourself that they are showing the best moments of their year, despite the fact that we all as humans have bad days and do go through those life experiences that we obviously don't want to go through. But before I get started, if you haven't already, make sure to like this video and subscribe down below, and make sure that you're following me on Instagram and TikTok and all my social media platforms so you can make sure you stay tuned on the following year ahead. So let's get straight into January. I'm starting to notice like this reoccurring pattern that in January it's almost like I'm just trying to settle into the year, and I do want more things to happen in January to kind of start off the year rather than settle into the year. I don't know, I've just been noticing that, and I wish there were more things for me to discuss in January. But the first thing, which is a big milestone, which is the short film that I'm in called Step Back. If you haven't watched it already, please do go and check it out. It is amazing, and I'm not trying to be biased because I'm in it. The actual storyline of the film is incredible, but it actually hit 2 million views on the NYM YouTube channel, and that is honestly mind-blowing. I can't believe over 2 million people saw me being an angsty younger sister, but you know what, I'm here for it. And by the way, everything that I do mention probably has some sort of video link to that, so I'll try and put all of the links and stuff in the description box down below, so feel free to check that out if anything I say pops out to you. Now on to February. Last year, and as you're watching this video now, this is going to be out in 2023, so that'll be 2 years ago, which is so weird. 2021 should not be 2 years ago, but in 2021 I filmed The Code Presents with Densu, and those episodes came out of February this year, but also last year because you're watching this in 2023. So yeah, I'm confusing myself, but I think I might be confusing you as well, so I'm just going to move on. Filming and doing that dance interview was so much fun, probably one of my favourite days, so please make sure to go and check it out if you would like to, of course. The interview is on Radical Collaboration, and I just think it was a really interesting discussion. I learned a lot of things, and I think you probably will as well, so yeah, check it out if you want to. For all the fashion lovers out there, you probably do know already that London Fashion Week happens in February and September, and I had the honour of walking for London Fashion Week in February of 2022 for London Represents, and it was so much fun. I loved every single brand that I walked for, and yeah. Spoiler alert, I did it again in September, and I will discuss that when we get to September. And I was also featured on the cover of LV magazine. I'll put the cover right here. It was really cool. It was honestly so surreal to get that magazine and see my face on it. But once again, I'm very honoured because I have the privilege to be able to say that my face is on a magazine. And not everyone has that opportunity, so thank you so much. Now moving on to March. The mini web series called It's Not That Deep that I'm featured in also came out on NYM, aka Million Youth Media, and the whole cast was basically the team behind this project. We were like creating the characters, building the storylines, along with the whole production team, which was the most amazing experience. They did the most amazing job at making that project so extremely youth-led, which is why a lot of just the whole series feels authentic, because I don't know if you've seen those examples of people talking about like massive TV shows and it's like these 27-year-old actors playing teenagers, and it's not for any like legal reasons, it's just because they want to cast older actors, and then the writing is not accurate to what young people say now, and it just feels forced. This is definitely the opposite of that, and it does feel natural, so if you haven't watched it already, go watch it. In March, I did the online conference Rocking Your Teens and did a speech on there. And it did remind me how much I miss doing speeches. So thank goodness this year was actually filled with in-person speeches, because I had missed it so very much. But I've worked with Rocking Your Teens before and they are absolutely amazing, so please go check them out. If it isn't obvious already, I am going to be shouting out a lot of people, so I'm going to try not to keep saying go check them out, go check this out, go check that out, because I know how that feels. We're going to give a little honourable mention to this screening because it generated this look, and probably one of my favourite outfits I've ever worn, ever. And this was for the Young, Famous in Africa Netflix series, and the drama, the luxury, the representation, it was giving what it was meant to give. And in March I also attended the Morbius premiere. It was like a gala screening in Leicester Square, and it was so cool. The whole like setup outside was very interesting. And March also signifies the month where I finally got to get up on a stage again and do a speech in front of an actual audience that wasn't my computer screen. And this was honestly such a fulfilling moment, because after the pandemic you don't realize how much you miss the things you love doing until they're kind of brought back to you and that feeling comes back. So I was very happy that this year was a year of speaking and a year of being with people and socializing once again. I'm just realizing, looking at my computer screen, that this was quite a speaking month for me, but I also did a speech for International Women's Day all about breaking the bias. That was the hashtag for this year, hashtag break the bias, and this was at the Phoenix Together Community Housing Centre, I believe, and this was so much fun. It was really nice to be kind of in my local area to do the speech as well, and I always love talking about women's empowerment because obviously. Now moving on to April. I feel like April was one of my favourite months of 2022 because it kind of was just before everything cascaded into chaos, I would describe it as. It's probably one of my favourite months of 2022. But I did the LOL Surprise Confidence Workshop in this month, and once again, probably one of my favourite days. I've been a part of kind of like the LOL Surprise family for a while now. I basically grew up with them, which is so crazy to think about because you don't like obviously see yourself change until you look back on things. But this was for their launch of the LOL Queens collection, and I was able to lead this confidence workshop for all of these kids. All of them were so adorable, and the task was to basically write different affirmations, positive words to maybe describe themselves on this piece of paper. They could colour them in, they could do whatever they want, add as much colour as you wanted to, but it was just such a fulfilling experience. I'll be saying fulfilling quite a lot, I feel like, in this video, but very grateful to be part of their family. And in April I was also featured in the Female Lead Society Positive Role Models to Follow article, and things like this just really make my soul happy because that is the sole reason why I kind of do what I do. And I don't mean to be followed, that I feel like that came out the wrong way, but I mean to be recognised as kind of a positive role model, because that is a big part of why I began speaking and presenting, etc. So someone to say I'm a positive role model to follow, to kind of change your feed, is it means a lot. I feel like May has been one of my favourite months until this year, or last year because you're watching this 2023. Yeah, May was the start of a big like, just I don't even know how to describe it, because it's just like a big puddle of melancholy feelings. But May wasn't a great month. I wouldn't even say great, it was a terrible month, really, and everything that came after that was very difficult. And I haven't actually directly addressed this on my YouTube channel yet because I wanted to make like a little YouTube series about it, which was kind of meant to come out in like September/August, but I think I've got more ideas for it for 2023, so you will be expecting videos like that. But it literally took exactly a week into May until everything went hellfire and just went downhill. So keep in mind that I had my final media project due in on the 9th of May. I will never forget that date. And I was starting my GCSEs in May. Obviously that's the first month that you start your exams in. And on the 7th of May 2022 my cat passed away, and it still is which is why I'm trying not to start sobbing. One of the hardest things I've ever had to go through. obviously 2 days before my media project is due in, which is the determination of my media grade, which thank goodness I got a distinction in, was due in, and then I was struck with this massive curveball. I've never ever felt grief like this before, and that's why I want to do a YouTube series kind of based around having a pet or being a pet owner. Joey was my first pet, so I think that also describes it. So I think that also explains why I didn't know how to act, and I still don't, clearly, as you can probably tell. It wasn't a great month for exactly that reason, and exams were just really stressful, and that is why I didn't film like any content around GCSEs, because I was mentally going through an extreme amount of things. And yeah, so if you're ever scrolling through my videos and you're like, Vanessa, where are all these GCSE videos? That is the reason why, because I was incapable of doing anything else outside of schoolwork in May, pretty much. It was extremely difficult. I just went completely downhill. I was someone else. I don't know how to explain this. If I was someone else looking at me when I was going through this, I would be concerned, and I was concerned for myself. But yeah, that is why May was probably one of the worst months of my entire life, and that is why I want to open up more about it and just kind of talk about it more on my channel. And for those of you who also don't know, I have a new addition to our family. I have a second fur baby to put all of my unconditional love into, and her name is Luna, and that is why I want to kind of make a YouTube series owning a pet and having to deal with the grief of losing a pet and then getting a new one and how to deal with that, etc, etc. I just think it's probably a relatable experience that a lot of people can connect with, so that is something to expect in 2023. That was a really long description for May. I do apologise for that. But the only highlight of May, I will say, was we hit 20,000 followers on Instagram, and yeah, that was very surreal. Because if I'll put a photo on the screen or here of what 20,000 people looks like, and when you really think about it in an actual real life experience, it is crazy. It's poco loco. Anyways, moving on to June. In June, I was the official youth blogger for Afro Hair and Beauty Live, and this was so much fun. I've always wanted to be like a assigned kind of social media person for an event, and this was exactly that, and it was so much fun. I love their events so much. There's always a space that you learn more about your hair, more about your culture. It's just a really great environment to be in. So go and check out that vlog if you haven't already. Then one of my highlights of 2022 was meeting the Chris Evans. I went to the Lightyear premiere in London, and it was so much fun, and I had the opportunity to meet Chris Evans, and still gobsmacked. Then in June, I was actually officially done with school, which still feels weird now because in my head GCSE exam season is not part of 2022. Like, it just didn't happen in the same year. I don't know how it happened in the same year, but it just didn't. Like, in my head, it just doesn't connect. After June of 2022, that's when my year began. And everything else was the year before, or was just some sort of grey area in my life, which still feels weird. But finally school and exams were over, which was all of that stress just, you know, kind of half-weighed off because we had to wait for results day, but something we could look forward to was prom, and I want to say thank you for all of the love on that prom vlog. I really love editing it, so I'm glad to see that people are receiving it in the same way that I would like them to, so thank you for that. And yeah, prom 2022 was very fun. It's a cool memory, I think. Then onto July, I spoke at the Children's Media Conference 2022 as a change maker, talking about what's next for kids in the media industry, specifically the children's media industry, and I have never felt so responsible before, and I don't have to describe this, so I'm going to try my best to, but having the platform to speak in front of these people who have so much power over the things we consume and over what young people consume specifically, I just felt such an immense responsibility to get this speech right. I think that I'm very proud of myself for that, and I don't say that very often because I tend to be quite hard on myself, but yeah, I really felt accomplished after I did that speech because everything that I wanted to land, I think did. And every message I wanted to mention, everything I wanted to bring up was brought up, and yeah, I'm proud of myself that I was able to take on that responsibility and also just have that opportunity granted to me. It was all the way in Sheffield, so it was like a little weekend away, and yeah, it was really fun. And in July, what I didn't know was when I filmed a self-tape, I would get a recall and then I would soon book that job, and that was the Woolco commercials. I can officially say that I am a Woolco girl. I was very happy, but I didn't show it on my face at all when we got the call from my agent, because I just couldn't believe it. I really couldn't believe it. But the recall went really well and the audition process went really well. And yeah, so I booked the job and had my fitting in July, and then I actually filmed it on the 2nd of August. And also, please do let me know if you'd like to see more videos or content around acting, around like audition processes, self-tapes, whatever it is, because I don't document it that much across my platforms because it's just something I'm waiting to come into fruition kind of thing. If you'd like to see more videos about that, I would be very happy to share my journey along with you, especially if you are an aspiring actor like myself. Now on to August. August will always have a big place in my heart because that is my birthday month. I filmed the Woolco advert, which was so much fun. It was a very fun day. I turned 16 years old, which I'm still trying to process and comprehend. I went to Paris for the first time in my life for my 16th birthday, and it was so amazing. Also a very big core memory of 2022, I would say. And then we flew to Turkey, and that was also such a beautiful holiday. Such a great way to just relax. I went with my mum and my grandma. If you haven't watched my Turkey vlogs, please go and do so, because I would like to bring a bit of that paradise to your home or to your comfort wherever you're watching those vlogs. Now on to September, we got Luna. It just felt like a relief because after losing Joey, it just felt so empty in our house. So it just felt like a really big relief to have her. Stay tuned for more of those. I think I'm going to call it the Pet Diaries on my channel, so stay tuned for the Pet Diaries. Then in September I also started college. Ew, I never thought I would say that sentence out loud, but I still can't. I mean, I think saying that I'm in 6th form and saying I'm in year 12 makes it sound a little bit less crazy than saying I'm in college, you know what I mean? And as I said, for February, London Fashion Week Part 2 happened, and I walked again for London Represents. It's just really great to know that you are a part of something that is in action towards transforming the fashion industry for the better. Now on to October. October also never fails me, and yeah, I just loved, especially now that I can wear my own clothes to 6th form. Expect more content about my own outfits for 6th form in the following year because I want to make that happen, but because I got to wear my own clothes, it was just so fun to wear like autumn fashion every single day. In October, the BFI London Film Festival happens, and I always love the London Film Festival. There's just something about it that fills my heart. We are almost there to the end of the year, guys. Now on to November, I went to the Black Panther Wakanda Forever multimedia screening, and just the fact I was invited and I could go and say that I went is crazy. A very, very big achievement in my book, because we all know that Black Panther is one of the best movies of all time, and I think the second film was incredible. And in November, I unexpectedly went to Amsterdam and spoke at the EWPN conference. I feel like I didn't really discuss or explain enough of this in my actual Amsterdam vlog, which was recently uploaded. So to kind of preface summary of this trip was that I was flown out to go and speak in Amsterdam at this event. I absolutely loved being there. I don't know what it was, but I was just in such a good mood when I was there. I just fell in love with the city. We went on a little canal boat. You know what? I'm not going to describe the whole trip because you can go and watch the vlog and find out for yourself. And now we're finally here at December at last, and I was able to host a fully focused screening with my friend Ronnie, and it was so much fun. And December is also when the Witcher premiere happened, and I was able to work with Reshma Couture. So I'm very happy that they were able to dress me for that event because I don't know what I would have done without them, truly. And that is a 2022 year roundup. Honestly, I don't even know if any of you are still here, and you know what, I can understand why. But if you are still here, comment down below a bunch of confetti emojis so I know that you are a real one and you stayed till the end. Thank you all so much for watching, and thank you all for being here throughout my year and throughout all of my previous years. It has been a whirlwind of an adventure. It has been a crazy year, to definitely say the least. I'm wishing you all an incredible, beautiful, exciting, successful 2023 for myself, my loved ones, for all of you guys. And yeah, here is 2023. Happy New Year, guys. Bye.